محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. يا غريب يا مظلوم يا شهيد كربلاء، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ذلك ومن يعظم شعائر الله فإنها من تقوى القلوب. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Tonight, millions of mu'mineen have finally made their way to the holy city of Karbala. Those who have been walking for days. And with each step they call out, Labbayka ya Hussein. My master Hussein, I am coming to you. My master Hussein, I was not with you on the day of Ashura. But my master, I pledge my love and loyalty to you. Like Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, who visited Abu Abdullah, he said, my master, I was not with you on the battlefield, but my heart and my mind and my thoughts were with you. And I remember you day and night. Millions now standing in the land of Karbun wa Bala, the land of trial and tragedy. That land that saw the great tragedy of Abu Abdullah and his companions and family members. That land that was stained with the blood of the shuhada, and millions more around the world, like us who are here, whose hearts are in Karbala, whose hearts are weeping for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein as we remember the great tragedies that befell our beloved Imam and his loyal companions and his beloved family members. And while all hearts now are directed toward the sacred land of Karbala, I want us to take a moment to redirect our hearts to another very sad and dark place. And that is the city of Rasulullah, the city of Medina. That city, if we think about the early history of that city, the city of Medina, Rasulullah leaves from Mecca, he comes to Medina. And he is welcomed by the community of Medina. They are singing his praises. He brings along with him his family. And in this beautiful city of Medina, what do you have? You have Amir al-Mu'mineen and Fatima al-Zahra who are joined in the beautiful city of Medina. Then you have the beautiful births of the grandchildren of Rasulullah. You have the birth of Al-Imam al-Hassan and Al-Imam al-Hussein. You have the births of Lady Zainab and Kulthum. And this family is happy together in the city of Medina, the city of their grandfather Rasulullah. Rasulullah, he watches his grandchildren grow. And in those streets and alleyways of the city of Medina, you see Al-Hassan wal-Hussein, they are running and they are playing, and Rasulullah is chasing them. And he is playing with his beloved grandchildren. In that masjid of Rasulullah, you have Rasulullah leading the congregational prayer, and Aba Abdullah is standing on his back. He is riding on the back of his grandfather Rasulullah. You find in this moment those beautiful moments where Rasulullah would gather with Amirul Mu'mineen and Fatimatul Zahra and Al-Hassanain and the rest of Banu Hashim, and he would embrace them, and he would express his love and his mercy and compassion towards them. Those beautiful days of Medina. But then Medina began to slowly witness difficulties. First with the departure of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And that was a great tragedy upon the Muslims and upon Banu Hashim. And then soon after, that city of Medina witnessed the death and the martyrdom of his beloved daughter, Sayyidah Fatimatul Zahra, as she was squeezed behind the door, between the door and the wall, and her miscarriage of that baby who was unborn, Muhsin, the baby brother of Aba Abdullah. And then the days would go by when that city would also witness the martyrdom of the older grandson of Rasulullah, Al-Imam Al-Hassan. And then finally the time would come in that city where Aba Abdullah, it is time for him to depart this beloved city of his. That moment where he decides to leave the city of his grandfather Rasulullah. That city that he had so many beautiful memories in. That city that he was so close to his grandfather in which he was born and in which he was raised. Al-Imam Al-Hussein, now it is time for him to depart this city. And so he decides to bid farewell to those who are most beloved to him. Abu Abdullah likely goes to the grave of his mother Fatima Zahra, probably by himself. Because until that time, the grave of his mother was still unknown. People did not know where the daughter of Rasulullah was buried. But Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he knew. And so he likely goes to the grave of his mother as Sayyidah Fatima, bidding her farewell, my mother. It is time for me to bid farewell and to leave. Then he likely goes to the grave of his brother Al-Imam Al-Hassan, bidding him farewell. Then he turns to the grave of his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. He approaches the grave, He sits on the grave of his grandfather Rasulullah. He begins to weep and cry, my dear grandfather, you have left. Do you know what is going on after you left? Do you know all of the great tragedies that befell your family after you left? And at this moment, I am your beloved grandson Hussein, the one whom you called out and said, Husseinun minni wa ana min Hussein. I am the one who was about to leave the city. I am the one who is being chased by the oppressors. The tradition says that Aba Abdullah, as he was mourning on the grave of his grandfather Rasulullah, he fell asleep, and he saw a dream. In this dream, Aba Abdullah, he saw that there were thousands of angels in a procession, and in front of this procession there was Rasulullah standing on one side. On the other side there was Amirul Mu'mineen, his father. On the other side next to them there was his mother Fatimatul Zahra. And then included was his brother Al-Imam Al-Hassan, and they are leading this procession and they are coming towards him. They see him and they call out, Ya Habibi, Ya Hussein, our beloved Hussein. It is high time for you to join us. We have missed you. It has been a long time since we have seen you. And the time has come. That time has come for us to be reunited once again. But only after you have experienced the great tragedy. So Abu Abdullah, he prepares to leave the city of Medina. He gathers his companions and Banu Hashim in the caravan. And they prepare to leave the city of Medina. But not everyone is included in this caravan. One of the daughters of Abu Abdullah, Fatima, a young daughter of his who was ill. She looks, she sees her family members, she sees her brothers, Ali al-Akbar. She sees her uncle Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. She sees her aunt Sayyida Zainab. She sees her cousins and the rest of the family. All of them have gathered onto this caravan. They are preparing to travel. It's as though she walks up to her father Abu Abdullah and she says, my father, where are you going? Where are you traveling to? Why is it that everyone has prepared to embark on this caravan, but I am being left alone? I am not joining you. What is Abu Abdullah supposed to tell his daughter? He kneels down to her. He embraces her. He tells her, my beloved Fatima, I am unable to take you. You are too ill and you are too weak, and we have a long journey. We are unable to take you with us. She looks at him and she says, my father, if I'm not able to come, will you at least leave my brother Ali al-Asghar with me? I enjoy my time with him. I enjoy playing with him. He keeps me company. Allahu Akbar. But Ali al-Asghar will also be accompanying his father Abu Abdullah. They thus get on to the caravan and they proceed going forward. And the time would come that another caravan would come back to the city of Medina. This time that caravan would be incomplete. The tradition says that when the Ahlul-bayt, they arrived to Karbala after Ash-Sham, they were there mourning their martyrs and their beloved. This was very difficult upon the heart of a Sayyida Zainab alayha salam to see her brothers and her nephews and her cousins and her family members and her sons, to see them and to come and to visit their burial sites. She was mourning for these several days until the time came when Imam al-Sajjad, he turns to his aunt Zainab, he says, Amma Zainab, it is time for us to go back to and to return to Medina. She looks up at him, she says, my dear nephew Ali, and what is left for us in the city of Medina? Why do we return to the city of Medina? What is left of the city of Medina? And thus the caravan, it travels from Karbala, it is going back to the city of Medina. The tradition says as the caravan approaches close to the city of Medina, the messenger that is with them, Bishr ibn Hadlam, he proceeds forward. He enters into the city of Medina. He arrives close to the grave of Rasulullah, and then he calls out. He says, Ya Ahla Yathrib la muqama lakum biha. O residents of Medina, there is no longer a need for you to reside in this city because the light of the city has diminished. There is no beauty in living in this city anymore. The people, they begin to gather around Bishr, and the news begins to spread among them. They begin to weep and cry. They realize that they have lost their loved ones. They realize that many of the Ahlul-bayt alayhim as-salam, they have been killed and martyred. As Bishr is standing there in the center next to the grave of Rasulullah, a woman, she approaches him. She comes forward. She is walking slowly towards him. She says, "O messenger, tell me about Banu Hashim. Tell me about my beloved Aba Abdullah al-Hussein." He looks at her. He does not recognize her. He says, "Oh lady, who are you?" She says, "I am Fatima al-Baneen." He says, "You are Baneen." At this moment, he thinks to himself, "This is Baneen. She has lost all 4 of her sons. How am I going to break the news to her? What do I say to her?" He turns to her. He says, "Ya Baneen, oh Baneen, my condolences to you upon your son Ja'far." When she hears this, she says, "Oh Bishr, I did not ask you about my son Ja'far." He then turns to her. He says, "Oh Baneen, my condolences to you upon your son Uthman." She says, "Oh Bishr, I did not ask you about my son Uthman. Tell me about my beloved Hussein." He turns to her. He says, "My condolences to you on your son Abdullah." She tells him, "I did not ask you about Abdullah. Tell me about Hussein." Then he turns to her. He says, "My condolences to you on Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas." At this moment, al-Baneen falls. She falls down. She begins to break in tears. Then she turns to him. She says, "Oh Messenger, you have torn my heart into 1,000,000 pieces, but I did not ask you about Abbas. Tell me about my beloved Hussein." Then he turns to her. He says, "Ya al-Baneen, عظم الله لك الأجر بأبي عبد الله." Allahu Akbar. She begins to call out, "Ya Habibi, Ya Hussein, wa Husseina, wa Shahida." After this, the tradition says that the woman, they arrived, Sayyidah Zainab, when she arrived to the city of Medina, she went straight to her home. She is broken, huh? She went straight to her home. She tells the ladies around them, "Do not allow anyone to come to disturb me. I want to be alone. I want to mourn in peace." After a few moments, there is a knock on the door, for Sayyidah Zainab. The women, they go out. They see a woman standing out. They say to her, they say behind the door, they say that Sayyidah Zainab is not available. She turns to them. She says to them, "Please tell her that Baneen is here." They go to her, to Sayyidah Zainab. They tell her, "Ya Sayyidati, Baneen is here to come to visit you." Sayyidah Zainab, she rises from her place. She comes rushing to the door. She meets with Baneen. They embrace one another. They begin to cry out. Baneen is calling, "Ya Hussein." Sayyidah Zainab is calling, "Ya Abbas." Allahu Akbar. And then there is one more scene, one more scene. And we go back to that young daughter of Aba Abdullah, Fatima al-Alila, who has been waiting for months. Every day she waits for news from her father, Aba Abdullah, from her brothers, from her uncles. Fatima, during this time, she would be there in the home. She would go from room to room in her home. She would remember her father, Aba Abdullah. She would remember her mother, her siblings. She would remember her young brother, baby brother, Ali al-Asghar. She comes forward. She is looking. She sees the caravan. She sees her brother, Al-Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. She sees some of the rest of the Banu Hashim. She sees her aunt, Sayyidah Zainab. But there are some figures that she does not see. She is waiting for them. She comes out distressed. She looks up and she says, "Where is my father, Hussein? Where is my brother, Ali al-Akbar? Where is my brother, Ali al-Asghar? Where is my uncle, Abu Fadl?" إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. صلى الله عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. All together. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات, for the souls of all of the mu'mineen and mu'minat, our marhumin and the shuhada, let us recite Surah Al-Fatiha مع الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.